If you've watched my other YouTube videos and my masterclass videos, you will know by now that I am a fan of finding simple things, or things which appear to be simple, which are not as easy to play as you might think. So I found one of those yesterday, and basically the concept is that you play kick on the 1 and snare on the 2 and the 4, and you keep that as solid as you can. This is the basis of this groove. So just like this. And then you add the hi-hat on the offbeats. That's the basic groove. And then what we're going to do is add the right hand. And we're taking the right foot, the left hand, and the left foot as a sort of system. And the right hand are going to play the different permutation things over the top of that. And the concept is that usually when you play, the right hand is your kind of grid, and you basically play everything else off of your right hand. So that's keeping time, and you're filling in the gaps with your left hand and whatever else. And we're just switching things around here so that, you know, what's most important in a rock groove is the kick and the snare. So we want the right hand to be kind of free to play other things without screwing up this groove. So the first exercise is filling in the spaces with the right hand. So you get this. So you'll notice as soon as I added the right hand, everything got a little bit wavy, and that's what I'm trying to get rid of. Another way that I like to practice these is to add the left hand on all the beats as well. So we've got this. And that gives you something to line up the bass drum and the hi-hat with as well. And if you bring the right hand to the snare drum, then you can tell how even your hands are. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit, and I'm going to play some alternatives on here. So instead of thinking of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I'm now going to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. And that means I can think in even finer subdivisions on the right hand. So instead of filling in the middle of the gap, I'm now going to fill the E or the A of the gap. So if I fill the E, it would sound like this. And if I fill the A, it would sound like this. And then you can do 2 notes. So let's do the 1E. last one needs a little bit of work there. And then you can work with triplets as well. So put it on the trip of the triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. And then on the let. And then maybe both. And then for some good practice switching between triplets and semiquavers, let's go from the triplet, triplet on the right cymbal to the and a. So that would sound like this. And you could also switch between the E and or the E a. So I'm going to go triplets to E a. And switching between playing, say, the let and the a is a little bit more difficult perhaps to really nail it, but see if you can hear the difference. And you could also try making the right hand as close to the next note as possible, so almost thinking in sextuplets or higher subdivisions, but basically trying to keep the bass drum and snare drum really solid. This is pretty difficult. I find it hard to get any closer than that. Really, I think I have to think in actual subdivisions, because otherwise it'd be more, I'd be playing a flam and this would be on the beat and this would be late. And you could do the same the other way and have this really close to the beat but after it. So there's an example of just playing around with different things with the right hand and keeping this as a solid groove. And the next thing that I would work on, if you start to feel comfortable with that, is adding bass drum permutations to the mix. So let's put an at in on the bass drum. I'm going to do the hands on the snare drum because that gives me the best guide for lining the bass drum up with. That one will get interesting when you start playing triplets on the ride and you're playing a straight 16th on the kick. Anyway, you work through all different permutations with the kick drum, and you know, it's pretty much expandable in all directions as far as you want to go. I just wanted to give you the idea, the kind of concept, so that you can work on that and have some fun with it yourself.